Ladies and gentlemen, hear me when I say this. You don't have time to wait. Tomorrow is not promised. Next week is not guaranteed. And next year may never come. Too many of us live like we have an unlimited supply of time, but the truth is, time is slipping away while we hesitate, while we second guess, while we wait for the perfect moment that may never arrive. Somebody in this room is at a crossroads. You're standing between who you are and who you could be, between what is and what could be. And you've been hesitating, making excuses, and letting fear keep you locked in a cycle of maybe someday. But someday is a lie. Someday is a thief. Someday is where dreams go to die. If you don't move now, you may never move. If you don't speak now, your voice may never be heard. If you don't fight now, you may never win the battle that was meant for you to conquer. Somebody in here knows what I'm talking about. You have gifts, you have dreams, you have a calling on your life, but fear has you frozen. And I came to tell you, fear is not your master. Fear has held you long enough. Fear has whispered in your ear long enough. It's time to break free. I don't know who I'm talking to, but somebody in this room has been making excuses. You've been saying, I'll start the business when the time is right. I'll step out when I feel ready. But let me tell you something, greatness doesn't wait for readiness. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never move. If you wait until everything is perfect, you'll never start. Every opportunity has an expiration date. Some doors won't stay open forever. That job, that relationship, that call in it won't wait for you forever. If you don't seize it, someone else will. If you don't step into your destiny, life will move on without you. I came to wake somebody up today. Your time is now, not next year, not when you're comfortable, not when it makes sense. Now, because if you don't move now, you may never move at all. It's now or never. Somebody say now. Time is the most precious currency we have, and yet we treat it like it's unlimited. We push things off saying, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll start next week, or when the time is right, I'll move. But let me tell you something, the time will never feel right. The stars will never perfectly align. The opportunity you see today may not be there tomorrow. Life doesn't wait for you to be comfortable. If you don't move now, life will move on without you. Some of us are living in a false sense of security, thinking we have all the time in the world. But let me ask you, what if this is your last chance? What if this moment right here, right now, is the only moment you'll ever have to step into your calling, to take the risk, to say yes to the vision that's been burning inside you? If you miss it now, you may never get it back. Look, around history is not made by those who wait, but by those who understand the power of urgency. The most successful people didn't always have the perfect conditions. They had the courage to act. They didn't wait until everything was in place. They moved, they stepped out, they took risks. And because they did, the world had to adjust to their presence. Some of you are waiting on confirmation, waiting on validation, waiting on a sign, but the fact that you're breathing is your sign. The fact that you're still here, still standing, still dreaming means God is not done with you yet, but you have to move now. You don't have time to keep wondering what if. You don't have time to keep rehearsing past failures. You don't have time to stay stuck in the cycle of doubt and fear. Time is ticking, doors are closing, and if you don't act now, you may find yourself looking back, wondering why you let hesitation rob you of your destiny. It's time to move, it's time to step out, it's time to act. Now or never. Fear is a silent thief. It doesn't make a lot of noise, but it robs you of everything you could be. It whispers doubts, plants hesitation, and convinces you that you're not ready, not good enough, not capable. Fear will have you sitting on the sidelines of your own destiny, watching opportunities pass by while you tell yourself, maybe next time. But let me tell you something, fear is a liar. Fear is a chain wrapped around your potential. And if you don't break it, it will break you. Some of you have been stuck in the same place for years, not because you lack the talent, not because you don't have what it takes, but because fear has convinced you to settle. Fear told you to play it safe. Fear told you to wait until you had all the answers. Fear told you that stepping out might lead to failure. But let me ask you, what if it leads to victory? What if stepping out is the very thing that shifts your entire life? Fear has kept you running from battles you were born to fight. You've been avoiding confrontation, shrinking back from challenges, choosing comfort over calling. But the life you were meant to live is not found in comfort. It's found in courage. It's found in stepping into the unknown even when your knees are shaking. It's found in saying, I may not have all the answers, but I refuse to let fear keep me from my destiny. Do you know why fear is so strong? Because it thrives on delay. The longer you hesitate, the louder fear becomes. The longer you sit in uncertainty, the more convincing fear's voice will be. But the moment you step forward, the moment you move despite the fear, something shifts. Fear loses its grip. Doubt starts to break. And you realize that the power it had over you was nothing more than an illusion. You can't afford to let fear dictate your future. You can't afford to let what-ifs hold you back. The enemy of your purpose wants you stuck in fear because he knows that once you break free, you'll be unstoppable. Fear only has power when you bow to it, but when you stand up, when you move forward despite the fear, you take back control. So what are you going to do? Are you going to let fear keep you locked in a life that is beneath your potential? Or are you going to rise up, push past the doubt, and take hold of everything that is waiting for you? It's now or never. Feelings are unreliable. They shift with the wind, change with the circumstances, and bow under pressure. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Too many people have delayed their destiny because they're waiting for the fear to leave, waiting for confidence to arrive, waiting for a moment when everything inside them says, now is the time. But let me tell you something, faith is not about feelings. Faith is about moving, even when your emotions are screaming, stay where you are. Some of the greatest moves you will ever make in life will be made in fear, in uncertainty, in discomfort. Faith is stepping out even when your hands are shaking, even when your voice is trembling, even when doubt is trying to wrap itself around your mind. Faith says, I don't have to see the whole staircase, I just need to take the first step. Faith understands that feelings will catch up later, but action must happen now. If you let feelings run your life, you will live in a cycle of hesitation. One day you'll feel bold, the next day you'll feel afraid. One moment you'll feel inspired, the next moment you'll question if you're good enough. But faith is steady. Faith is constant. Faith moves regardless. You can't build a future on the instability of emotions. You must anchor yourself in something greater, something that doesn't waver, something that doesn't depend on your mood, something that doesn't break under pressure. The enemy of your destiny wants you to rely on feelings because he knows feelings will keep you bound. Feelings will tell you, wait until you have more money. Feelings will tell you, you need more experience. Feelings will tell you, you're not qualified. But faith will tell you, go anyway. Faith will tell you God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the call. Faith will tell you you are more than enough. Somebody needs to hear this today. You are waiting for fear to go away before you take the leap, but fear isn't leaving until you move. You are waiting for certainty, but faith operates in the unknown. You are waiting for a sign, but the fact that you're still breathing is the sign that you are meant to do more, be more, step into more. So what are you going to do? Keep sitting on the edge of your breakthrough, waiting for a feeling that may never come? Or are you going to rise up and move despite the doubt, despite the fear, despite the uncertainty? Because let me tell you, your future doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to faith. It responds to action. It responds to boldness. And if you don't step now, you may never step at all. It's now or never. Opportunities do not last forever. Doors do not stay open indefinitely. There are moments in life, critical defining moments, where you either step forward or get left behind. Some of you are standing in front of an open door right now, but instead of walking through it, you're hesitating, you're overthinking, analyzing, and waiting for the perfect moment. But let me tell you something, perfect moment is a myth. The only moment you have is the one right in front of you. And if you don't seize it, you may never see it again. Opportunities have expiration dates. Just like milk goes bad if you leave it too long, just like a flight takes off whether you're on it or not, opportunities move with or without you. Life does not pause while you decide whether or not you're ready. The job offer, the relationship, the business idea, the calling on your life, it's all on a timeline. If you wait too long, the moment passes and sometimes it never comes back. How many times have you looked back and said, I should have taken that chance? How many times have you watched someone else walk into something you were too afraid to step into? The idea you had but didn't act on, someone else is running with it. The dream you delayed, someone else is living it. The position you want, someone else claimed it. Not because they were better than you, not because they were more gifted than you, but because they moved while you hesitated. You don't have time to keep doubting. You don't have time to keep delaying. Some of you are watching opportunities slip through your fingers because you're afraid of failing. But let me ask you, what if you succeed? What if stepping into this opportunity shifts your entire life? What if this is the door that leads to everything you've been praying for? Will you let fear make you miss it? The enemy of your destiny wants you to believe that you can always do it later. He wants you to think you have more time, that you can wait until next year, next season, next opportunity. But let me tell you, delayed obedience is still disobedience. Some of you know what you need to do, but you keep putting it off. You keep saying, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next year. And before you know it, you've lost something you were meant to have. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your time. If you don't move now, the door may close forever. If you don't act now, the opportunity may pass you by. If you don't step forward, you may spend the rest of your life wondering what could have been. It's now or never. Pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Every struggle, every disappointment, every setback was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to develop you. But too many people let their pain paralyze them instead of propel them. They sit in their suffering, replaying the hurt, rehearsing the betrayal, nursing their wounds, instead of using that very pain as the fuel to push them forward. You have a choice. Let the pain define you, or let it refine you. Let it hold you back, or let it make you stronger. But one thing you cannot do is ignore it, because the pain you refuse to confront is the pain that will control your life. Some of you have been through too much to quit now. You've cried too many tears, fought too many battles, and survived too many storms to turn back. After everything you've endured, why would you stop here? Why would you let the weight of the past keep you from stepping into the future you were meant to have? The very thing that tried to destroy you can be the thing that drives you if you let it. Look at the greatest success stories in history, and you will find one common thread: pain. Every world changer, every leader, every person who did something significant with their life had to go through something. They had to be crushed before they could rise. They had to walk through fire before they could carry the weight of their calling. And the difference between them and the people who gave up is simple. They refused to waste their pain. You cannot afford to waste what you've been through. You didn't go through that storm just to come out empty-handed. You didn't fight through the sleepless nights just to sit in defeat. If you had to endure it, then it needs to mean something. You need to take that pain and turn it into power. Take that suffering and turn it into strategy. Take that loss and turn it into legacy. Because pain is a seed. If you plant it in the right soil, it will produce strength, resilience, and wisdom. But here's the truth. You don't have forever to make this decision. You can sit in your pain for years, waiting for someone to fix it, waiting for time to heal it. Or you can decide right now that everything you've been through is going to work for your good. You can decide that you're not going to let past wounds rob you of future victories. You can decide that what was meant to break you will be the very thing that builds you. The clock is ticking, time is moving, and the choice is in your hands. You can either stay where you are, held back by everything that hurt you, or you can rise up and declare that nothing, no betrayal, no setback, no failure, no loss will keep you from becoming everything you were created to be. The pain has already happened. You can't change that. But what you do with it, that's up to you. And if you don't use it now, you may never use it at all. It's now or never. You are writing history every single day, whether you realize it or not. The choices you make, the risks you take, the opportunities you seize, or the ones you let pass, are shaping the legacy you will leave behind. One day people will talk about you, they will tell your story, and the question is, what will they say? Will they talk about someone who played it safe, who let fear dictate their future, who lived beneath their potential? Or will they tell the story of someone who rose up, who took the lead, who refused to let excuses define them? Legacy is not built in the future, it is built in the present. Too many people think they have time to leave their mark, that someday they'll get serious, someday they'll make a difference. But someday is not a promise, it's a fantasy. If you don't move now, if you don't act now, if you don't step into what you were called to do now, you may never do it at all. There are people attached to your destiny, people waiting on you to move, to lead, to create, to inspire. You don't just live for yourself. Your life has a ripple effect. Your children, your family, your community, even people you have never met, they are watching, they are learning, they are being shaped by what you do. And if you don't rise up and live at the level you were created for, how many lives will remain unchanged? How many people will never step into their greatness because you didn't step into yours? When it's all said and done, you don't want to be remembered for what you could have been. You don't want people to say they had so much potential, but they never used it. You don't want to leave behind dreams that were never realized, gifts that were never unwrapped, and purpose that was never fulfilled. If you wait too long, the world will move on without you. Someone else will write the book you were supposed to write. Someone else will build the business you were supposed to start. Someone else will walk through the door that was meant for you, but you hesitated and time kept moving. This is your moment to decide what kind of story will be told about you. Will it be one of regret or one of victory? Will it be one of delay or one of boldness? Will it be one of excuses or one of action? Because at the end of your life, you won't remember the things you thought about doing. You'll remember what you actually did. And the world won't be changed by your intentions, but by your actions. So what are you waiting for? Time is running. The future is watching. The next generation is depending on you. You don't have the luxury of waiting for a better season, for a more convenient time, for someone to hand you permission. You must decide right now that you will not leave this world full of unused potential, unfulfilled dreams, and untapped greatness. You must decide that when your name is spoken, it will be tied to something powerful, something meaningful, something lasting. And if you don't move now, you may never move at all. It's now or never. There comes a time in life when you can no longer afford to wait, a time when delaying is no longer an option, when hesitation is too costly, when standing still is just as dangerous as going backward. That time is now. Everything you need is already inside you. Every door you need to walk through is in front of you. But if you don't move, if you don't act, if you don't step forward with faith and boldness, you may miss your moment forever. Fear has had its time. Doubt has had its say. Procrastination has stolen enough of your life. But today, right now, you make a decision to step out, to take the risk, to walk in purpose, to stop letting excuses dictate your destiny. You don't need another sign. You don't need another confirmation. This is it. This is your moment to shift, to rise, to become everything you were created to be. You have wasted enough time. You have second-guessed yourself long enough. The opportunities won't wait, the clock won't stop, and the world won't slow down for you to decide whether or not you're ready. You are ready. You are capable. You are chosen for this moment. But if you don't act now, if you don't move now, if you don't embrace what is in front of you now, you may never get another chance. So what will it be? Will you let another season pass you by, or will you rise up and take what is yours? Will you let fear paralyze you, or will you move in faith? Will you keep waiting, or will you make history? The choice is yours, but make no mistake about it, this is not just another day, another moment, another decision. This is the defining moment. This is the turning point. This is the line in the sand. It's now or never.